The code W3236 in your Bobcat machine means ACS AHC lift actuator fault. This is all about the actuators that are located on the main valve and operate the lift and tilt functions in your equipment. Even though the code directly says you have a problem with the lift actuator, this can also be a glitch connected with the tilt actuator, so you will need to check both. First of all, you need to know that these actuators don't fail that often, and in a lot of cases the problem is with the harness. In the ACS or AHC system, which is the system for advanced hand controls, you get a lot of wiring that may rub in different places and eventually get shorted. So the first thing to do is track down the wiring from the actuators to all the modules that you can and see if the wires and connectors are okay. Also, there are a lot of tips on the internet that tell you to swap the actuators and see if the code changes. Now you're getting the lift actuators code, and if after swapping the parts you get the tilt actuator code, you may be sure that it's not wiring but the actuator itself. And even though the actuators are identical in Bobcat equipment, they are coded in different way and will not work if just swapped. You need to make sure that the connectors remain in their places. So you may swap the actuators, but you will have to reconnect them in such a way that the tilt and lift connectors stay in their initial places. If you eventually identify that the actuator is faulty and requires replacement, you will have to recalibrate them even if your Bobcat works fine without calibration. You can do it with a compatible scanner, but there are also procedures that allow you to calibrate the actuators without any equipment. Fortunately, they are described hundreds of times on forums, so you can easily find them. The problem is that if you don't recalibrate the system, your new actuator may burn quite fast, since it will get the wrong signals from the control modules and will not work in its best conditions. Since the new actuator is about $1,000, it makes sense to recalibrate it after installation of the new part.